As soon as I pulled my shiny new Salerno Vantage into the driveway of my recently purchased house in Cedar Glen, I had the weirdest feeling I wasn't alone. The engine was still purring when I noticed her, a woman marching toward me like she owned the planet. She had platinum blonde hair, chopped into a sharp bob, and wore sunglasses too expensive for her attitude. Her mint green sweater fluttered behind her as she stomped across the street, high heels clicking with purpose. She didn't even blink before shouting, "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing with that car?" I opened the door, stepped out with my keys in hand, and said, "Hey there, I'm Tyler. Just moved in, number 48. She squinted at me, sizing up my hoodie and joggers like they were crimes against wealth. "That's not possible. The Hendricks said they sold to a corporate lawyer. You look like you still live off student discounts." "I'm 22, I said with a calm smile. "And I bought the house outright last month. Everything just closed." Her eyebrows arched so high they almost left her forehead. "No one your age buys a house like this, let alone drives a Salerno. That car is worth more than my yearly salary. I'm calling the police." Before I could reply, she already had her phone up, tapping numbers like she was unlocking a national emergency. "We don't let strangers run wild in Cedar Glen," she huffed. I leaned against the hood, letting her work through her melodrama. Not exactly the welcome I expected, but sadly, not unfamiliar. People often judge what they can't understand. I'd sold my software platform a year ago for a solid 8-figure sum. That tends to ruffle feathers. "Yes, officer," she said into her phone, projecting her voice like she was in a courtroom drama. "There's a suspicious young man at 48 Cedar View Lane driving a car that clearly doesn't belong to him. I suspect theft. Please hurry before he runs." I sighed and messaged my assistant to delay the moving truck. The woman, who I now realized was likely the infamous neighborhood gossip, ended her call and crossed her arms. "Police will be here in minutes. Don't think about leaving." "Wasn't planning to," I said. "This is my home. Also, what's your name?" "Beverly Armstrong," she snapped. "President of the Cedar Glen Residence Committee. 6 terms running. And you? You don't fit the profile." Of course her name was Beverly. There had to be a Beverly. "Well, Beverly, if you'd like proof," I offered, pulling out my ID. "I've got everything you need right here." She waved it off like it was a flyer for a pizza place. "I've seen better fakes at frat parties. No way the board approved you. And frankly, you don't look like someone who belongs here." There it was. Not just about age. She scanned my brown skin with a glance that made her meaning unmistakable. I kept cool. I wasn't going to give her the drama she was begging for. "Beverly, the committee doesn't vet buyers. Real estate doesn't work like that. I paid, the sellers agreed, and here I am. It's legal." "You're lying," she barked. "You must be laundering money or something. No one that young just has a vantage. Did you hack a bank account?" Then she started circling my car again, snapping photos. Neighbors started stepping onto their porches like this was entertainment. "I've seen this scam before," Beverly shouted to the crowd. Flashy car, fake story, and then boom, our community turns into a crime zone. I won't allow it. "Okay," I said, opening the glove box. "Here's the registration and insurance. Bought from Monarch Motors 3 months ago. Want to see the dealership's contact?" She refused to even glance at the documents. "Oh, please. Anyone with a printer can make those. My nephew works cybersecurity. He says this happens all the time." That's when 2 patrol cars rolled up. Beverly's whole posture shifted. Suddenly, she was a poor citizen in distress. She walked briskly to the officers. "Thank goodness. This man is driving a stolen luxury car and pretending he lives here. I'm the RC president, and I know every resident. He's a fraud." One officer, tall and older, looked at me and said, "Sir, we got a report. Can we see your ID and vehicle paperwork?" "Of course," I replied, handing him the bundle I already had ready. "I'm Tyler Ramsey. Bought this home last month. Just got the keys yesterday." While the younger officer scanned the documents, Beverly kept going. "He's using fake info. Look at him. Barely old enough to rent a car, let alone own that one." The senior cop raised an eyebrow, but didn't say anything yet. "Ma'am," the younger one said eventually, "everything checks out. Car's registered under Mr. Ramsey's name. Insurance is valid. Property records confirm deed transfer. No issues here. Beverly paled, then blurted, "That can't be." "Run it again." "People like him. He can't afford this." The phrase hung in the air. Everyone caught it. "What do you mean, people like him?" the older officer asked, eyes narrowing. "I mean young people." Beverly backpedaled. "Obviously. Just try to keep the neighborhood safe." Just then, an older man from across the street walked up. "Officers, my porch cam recorded the whole thing. From her marching over here to what she said. I've got it all on video." Beverly stiffened, including the part where she said, "We don't need his kind lowering property values," the neighbor added. And something about getting him out by any means necessary. Beverly was now visibly sweating. "That's completely out of context," she cried. "I was just worried about community standards." The older officer turned to me. "Mr. Ramsey, everything's in order. Apologies for the inconvenience." "No harm," I replied. "Thanks for being professional." He then turned to Beverly, suddenly all business. "Mrs. Armstrong, can we have a word?" They stepped aside, and I could see her gestures growing erratic. Meanwhile, more neighbors had joined the scene, whispering and shaking their heads. Not at me, but at her. A few minutes later, the officer pulled out a notepad. Beverly's voice climbed several octaves. "You're arresting me? I'm doing my duty. I'm the president." But her protests didn't matter. "Beverly Armstrong, you're under arrest for filing a false report and verbal harassment. Please come with me. This is madness. You'll regret this. Call my lawyer." Her voice echoed down the street as she was guided into the patrol car. A woman who'd ruled this neighborhood with passive aggression and gossip had just been toppled by her own actions. A week later, I got an official letter. Beverly was suspended, and a vote had removed her from the residence committee permanently. Fined $6,000 and sentenced to 80 hours of community service. Her realty job? On pause, thanks to client complaints. Ran into her at the supermarket a few days later. She turned bright red, abandoned her cart, and darted for the exit. Funny how fast authority fades when it was built on assumptions and fear. In the weeks that followed, Cedar Glen felt different, lighter, freer. Neighbors who once kept their distance stopped by to introduce themselves, offer help, or simply say welcome. The same people who watched silently as Beverly dominated every committee meeting were now openly relieved she was gone. It turned out her leadership had been more of a stranglehold, and her downfall gave the entire block room to breathe. As for me, I didn't move here to make waves. I just wanted a quiet place to call home. But what happened reminded everyone that assumptions can be dangerous, and silence can be complicit. Beverly's attempt to gatekeep the neighborhood based on age and appearance backfired spectacularly, and the fallout was a long overdue reckoning. Now, when I park my car in the driveway, no one stares like I don't belong. They wave. Some even smile. The ghost of Beverly's reign still lingers and whispers, but her power? Gone. She wrote her own ending, and I just happen to witness it. Sometimes, justice doesn't need drama. It just needs the truth, a camera, and a little patience.